This conference will now be recorded.
And we're going to record what we're doing. And so which one do you want first? How about public safety is none? You want to skip the public safety? Okay, we have legislative reports first.
Well, take the roll call,
Oh, we're going to take the roll call first.
much to Jim Darling's delight. Mayor Ambrosio Hernandez. Commissioner North Blansky. Mayor David Suarez. I see you, Commissioner Glansky. Mr. Jim Darling.
Present.
Mayor Norma Sepulveda.
Here.
Judge Aurelio Guerra. Commissioner David Garza. Commissioner Ellie Torres. Commissioner J.R. Garza. Councilman Johnny Garcia.
Present.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Rick Salinas is trying to log in, to my understanding. Commissioner Omar Quintanilla. Commissioner Jacob Howell. Mayor Nori Gonzalez Garza. Mayor Gus Olivares. Commissioner Edward Gonzalez.
Here.
Thank you, sir. Mayor Rick Guerra. Thank you, sir. Commissioner Marco Villegas. Mayor Alma Salinas. Ms. Veronica Gonzalez.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Paul Hernandez.
Here.
Thank you, Paul. Mr. Luke Lucio.
Here.
Thank you. Mr. Troy Allen.
Present.
Mr. Ronald Mills. Mr. Eleazar Garcia.
Present.
Mr. Sergio Contreras. Ms. Lupita Sanchez Martinez. We do not have a quorum. We are 2 members short.
Okay. Okay, we're going to start off. We'll do the invocation and we'll do the pledge after that. So if you please stand with me. Bow our heads. Dear Lord, bless us as we gather here today to conduct business that will affect the citizens of the Rio Grande Valley. Give us the clarity of mind to act in their best interests and not ours. We ask that you bless our speakers and that you would bless our time together today. May we grasp those things that you want us to understand, and may our actions and our attitudes please you this day. We praise these things in your holy name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Liberty and justice for.
You know, with all the division in our country, we ought to, when we do the Pledge of Allegiance, really listen to the words, I think. I think we've forgotten what that pledge is all about. That's the end of my political speech, but I think it's important. Okay, we can do any,
Yes, we can go to the,
Huh?
we can go to the public comment.
any public comments today?
We did not receive any.
We did not receive any, okay. I'll do my water report. Can I do my water
Sure,
report?
of course.
In Region M? Well, as of yesterday, we had a combined US, that's in both reservoirs of 28.37%. Last week, we had 28.99, pretty consistent, but that does not include the rain we just had yesterday. So hopefully there was some rain in the watershed and we'll be in good shape there. The total system is at 30.58. So that's all Mexico and the United States. And so we're not at record level lows, but our record level low was at 19% in 1999. And we're a little better than we were last spring. So we're holding our own, but most cities have conservation ordinances that that are enacted based on water levels. And so you go below 30%, we're supposed to be in a certain stage. And I think most cities go 25 and 20%. And under 20%, it gets pretty serious. So I think all you prayed for rain. Thank you very much. We got some really good rain. Beneficial. Have a quorum. Okay.
Mayor Darley,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
on. I don't know if that helps for the quorum or not, but I'm on.
Yeah,
It's Mayor
we made it.
Salinas.
So thank you very much. We appreciate that.
All right.
Yes, Salinas, we have you down. And then Commissioner Jacob Howe.
Yes, I'm present. That was,
Kind of-
I guess we're having technical difficulties or something, but I'm on.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. We have
No
quorum.
problem.
Okay, and so we already did roll call invocation, pledge of allegiance. So item 2, consideration and action to approve the minutes for the meeting of February 22nd, 2023. We have a motion and second to approve. Any deletions or additions? Hear none. All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed,
Aye.
same sign. Okay, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Next item is public comment. We said we didn't have any. Okay, administration, Mr. Cruz, items A.
Yes, sir. For item letter A, just bear with me. We've hardly have any tabled items from prior meetings. And so at this point, we would need a motion to untable this item and remove it from the agenda.
So move. I have a motion,
A
second.
second.
Second to take off the table item 4A. All in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Opposed, sign, motion carried. Okay, 4A.
4A,
We might need to remove, like, take no action since the executive committee, acted on it, which is the next item.
Okay.
So the item's been taken off the table and now we need to decide what to do.
so we need a formal action to remove it from the agenda. I
That was
believe.
to take it off the table.
Take off the table.
Make the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and second to, now that we remove this item, to take it off the agenda with no action being taken. All those in favor say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay, 4B.
Yes, sir. This next item, obviously, it's a reference to letter A, which was tabled at the last board meeting with clear instructions from the board of directors to convene with the Regional Water Resource Advisory Committee to review the potential allocation of the grant that was provided or will be provided by the American Flood Coalition. And so we did meet with the RORAC this month. And so our instruction from the RORAC was to conduct a workshop to explore the possibility of having a pre-conference or pre-training on a conference that's coming up. The conference that's coming up is the Stormwater Conference in April, or actually in May, I'm sorry, May 21st to the 25th. And so we have scheduled a workshop that's going to take place on Monday around 10 o'clock. We sent out the email. And so for this action item, we would need, or actually it's been approved by the executive committee. And so bringing it before this committee for final ratification.
And this is also includes the signing of the grant agreement with the American Flood Coalition for the $31,000 to hold the event, which the RERAC group will do.
That's correct.
Okay. Any other questions about that?
Just a comment, I appreciate this having gone through that process. I think we got some great input. And the idea here for all of the members present and those online is to hopefully be able to encourage folks that sit on this council and folks from towns and cities that are representative to go and spend a couple of hours at a seminar at the island in conjunction with one that is already ongoing. I was talking to Jim Darden, and he says a method that worked really well for McAllen is if you invite folks to the island for a reception on one night and a meeting the next day, they usually show up if you pay for the room. So just a suggestion, man.
Not that I do that, but you need to be there. I've been very successful.
But I think that it's hard for elected officials to make the time to listen and be at a 2 or 3 hour meeting. And sometimes we have to entice them to join us. And hospitality and a good presentation would be great for folks to learn and find out and make sure that their communities are represented in the process of the decision making that needs to occur for, plans for the future.
Yeah, and this is flood, so it's really, really important. It touches all of, anybody that drove around yesterday knows that even with that relatively, not so much severe rain, we still have flooding issues in the area. So, okay, so we need a motion to approve the,
Second.
okay, any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye, or raise your hand.
Aye.
Same sign. Motion carried.
Staff and I will be reaching out to to the elected officials and make them aware of what's decided next week. And so Commissioner Garza mentioned that's a great suggestion idea and voiced by Commissioner Garza. And so we'll be looking to do that. So and if we get quorum then we know what to do for the board meetings. Have them at the island, maybe. So not really. Thank you. Okay, the next item C is consider ratification of executive committee action to approve Homeland Security Advisory Committee prioritization list for FY 2023-24 for the uploading the prioritization list on e-grants. Again, the executive committee unanimously approved this item. So we're presenting it before this board for final approval or ratification of the item. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to entertain.
Any questions? I looked through it. I thought some of these programs, anti-terrorism programs and all that. Do we do that on a regional basis? Some were pretty expensive in 1 or 2 cities. I thought if you're really going to have it in one city and you're spending 120,000, wouldn't it be better to do a regional invite for that?
Yes, typically, and Renee, if we can come up to the podium, maybe I'll try to summarize this and you can add to it. But typically, with Homeland Security grant programs, the funding is dwindling. We're up to 600,000 for the entire region. And so the Homeland Security Advisory Committee is very strategic. And so any allocation that's made, that entity or that city or agency has to commit those resources on a regional basis and respond on a regional basis. But Renee, can you elaborate a little bit more on that just to make sure?
So just so I can understand the question, as far as these projects that are being prioritized, you're asking if they're regional or city based only?
Yeah.
They're regional. These are regional teams that are dispersed depending on the incident that might occur. If they were to need assistance from one town to another, since we are all 3 counties as one as a region. So these projects, as far as any item that they purchase, they fall under regional assets. So if another entity was to need it, they could do a request and so forth.
Or if it's a training, it'd be offered regionally then, and
Same thing.
the city's just the host city, really.
Yes,
that's
sir.
getting the grant. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve item 4C.
So move.
A motion and second. All those in favor?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor, raise your hand. Or say aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. If you're present, you could raise your hand or say aye. 4D.
4D, consideration and action to approve updates to the LRGVDC Personal Policy Manual reflecting changes to utilize the new payroll and human resources time management system. As you might be aware, some funding agencies such as TxDOT, the Public Safety Office, might require us to formally pass any new process that we have in place or adopt it before this board. And so this just, further carries more weight by us for any issues that would surface during audit. Some require us to formally pass it through this board. So this is a change, and you can see the attachment should be in your packet or on the screen. It's a minor change to that. Philip, do you have access to that or no?
Yeah, the change is a different payroll system and then time reporting the work week changed from 5 p.m. to 12 a.m. Some, I would guess, to sync up with the new reporting
The
system,
Yes, that's correct.
right?
Yes, sir.
Now people are coming in at 5 a.m. Okay.
No.
Okay. And that's the only change.
And then just to be aware that we left the timesheet, our old system there as a backup in the event the ADP system, doesn't work or is not accessible. So we left that as a backup, help us in the long run.
Okay, you heard the changes. I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Oh, for Mr. Solis.
Aye. Okay.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. 4E.
4E, just want to thank Mayor Sepulveda for reaching out to us and recommending a presentation from Rio Grande Valley Humane Society. We have Mr. Luis Quintanilla here to present. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. And again, thank you, Mayor Sepulveda, for affording us this opportunity to speak about our work. My name is Luis Quintanilla, and I'm the Executive Director for the Rio Grande Valley Humane Society. Thank you all again for taking the time to speak with us, dealing with so many items. It's really nice that our leaders are taking the time to hear about our animals. So for 3 years now, the Rio Grande Valley Humane Society, in partnership with the City of Harlingen, has been the only no-kill shelter in the Rio Grande Valley. It's a lot of really good work that we've been able to do in collaboration with our city partner, and it's really only possible through that collaboration. Our work is not possible without those really crucial partnerships, and we're very excited that now we are partnered with two cities now. The City of Mission partnered with us in February, so it's not only Harlingen fighting the good fight alone, we're doing it valley-wide now, and we can't wait to expand that. Our mission is very simple. We want to save as many animals as we possibly can while serving as many people as we possibly can. One of the main topics of conversation that we've heard this morning and that we've experienced on our commutes this morning is the flooding. And I think one of the things that is really special about this group is that it's all about collaboration and regionalism. It's not really going to work solving the flooding issue unless all of our city leaders come together. Well, one flood that we're always inundated with is stray animals. And I think that's apparent whether you're going from one end of 107 to the other, one end of Military Highway to the other. They're everywhere. It's not that our people don't care. It's not that our leaders don't care. It's simply that our area lacks quite a few of the resources that larger markets have. And our goal is to unite as a region to attract more investment and more veterinary care to come down to the valley that we so sorely need. Just a brief background on what no-kill means. It just means saving every animal that possibly can be saved with the resources that we have available. So that's what we've been able to do for the last few years. And we're very excited about that. And all we want to do is spread that good work across the entire region. Last year, and actually the year prior, we had the privilege of bringing Dr. John August to the Rio Grande Valley twice to visit our shelters and to see our community and hopefully get some more investment down here from Texas A&M and maybe some resources from their students. One of the things that he very politely said was that, Harlingen is going to be competing with Houston, McAllen's going to be competing with Dallas, Mission's going to be competing with San Antonio, and so on and so forth, meaning that we are very small alone, but together we are very, very impactful. Together we have a much stronger voice. And so our homework for the last couple of years has been uniting as many cities as we possibly can for this one cause to bring that investment down to the Rio Grande Valley because our people need it and our people want it. And we're very excited that this summer we're going to be having our first full-time vet on staff to bring those low-cost resources to our community. And it's just the beginning. I'm not sure if we can move the next slide, if that's on me. There we go. And so I wanted to talk a little bit very briefly about the way things have been done historically and how we differ in our approach over the last few years. So the old way of doing things was sort of catching as many as you possibly can, ACOs, animal control officers, getting as many calls as they can possibly answer. Most of those animals go to the shelter, which is incredibly overcrowded due to our volume of strays throughout the entire valley. And the majority of those animals were not saved. And the few that were not spayed or neutered or vaccinated, and they go off into the community, and inevitably some of them get out, and the proliferation of stray animals continues, and it continues for decades and decades. The next slide is what we like to say is the right way of doing things. It's actually funding the solution, which is focusing on that community medicine. We all know when we were kids, we remember the fire department going to our elementary schools talking about stop, drop, and roll. Well, the difference between that and going to schools talking about spay neuter is the fact that it's free to stop, drop, and roll. And spay neuter is by no means free or as easily accessible. So we have focused our work on providing that accessibility to our community. And in the last 3 years, we provided nearly 10,000 spay neuter surgeries in-house for our community in the greater Harlingen region, and we will soon be doing that in Mission. And by doing that, we will slowly and steadily decrease the call volume for our animal control officers, decrease that burden on our city governments dealing with those calls, and slowly but surely making sure that everybody's vaccinated, sterilized, and our population can go down. It really is more than just about those cute animals that we care for. It really is a public health issue. It is a public safety issue. And we are working as hard as we possibly can with our city partners on resolving that issue. And I'm not sure if we can go to the next slide. And so our mission is exactly that. We want to put the Valley on the map for all the right reasons. We want to find a way to work together the way this team does already for so many issues that affect our residents and our families. We really want to make sure that we put this on the front and the forefront of everyone's mind that, you know, this is possible. It's possible through collaboration, through a regional approach, because it really is a regional problem. Everywhere from Brownsville all the way up to Rio Grande City and everywhere in between, there are stray animals everywhere. And it really presents a public safety and public health issue. And again, this is not something that any one city can solve alone. And so I really want to thank you all again for affording us this opportunity to celebrate the great work that we've been able to do in Harlingen for the last few years and in Mission for the last couple of months. And we hope that we can spread that good work across the Valley and bring even more resources to our region. Thank you.
I had a suggestion. You know,
Yes, sir.
I always thought in high school we ought to teach basic life about how to take a baby and all that. We ought to teach kids in high school what it's like to have a pet. In the basic, I mean, if people knew, they wouldn't. A lot of them wouldn't get a pet. But I mean, to really care a pet, vaccinations one. And when I hit my first pet, I didn't know about that at all, and that's the truth. And so I think that's a really good step. Is you're not going to stop it instantly, but I mean, if you start teaching in high school how some of the basic things, how to use a fire extinguisher for the first time, how to do all that, but especially pets, keeping pets, huh? Yeah. But if we did, I thought if you approach kids in that manner and maybe give them a good basis, and they'll become good pet owners someday. But because you don't get it until you get one, and then it's too late.
Absolutely, yes, sir. And we're very fortunate to work with HCISD and very soon with the Mission ISD.
Get all the ISDs.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And would love to, if anybody has any questions for us and what we do and how we can work together, please feel free to contact us, and we'll be more than happy to discuss how we've been really successful with the City of Harlingen and with the City of Mission. Thank you again.
Mr. Quintanilla, I believe you have a visitor.
Sure.
Mr. Quintanilla, don't you have one of your board members with you today?
Yes, Commissioner. My board president, Lillian Kim, is back there. And so our board is very business minded, and our bottom line is not profit. Our bottom line is how many constituents can we serve and how many animals can we save. And to that end, we provide tens of thousands of vaccines and microchips and spay neuter surgeries every year for the greater Harlingen, Cameron County area. And now we will be doing the same, hopefully very soon in Mission. And one of the things that I wanted to also highlight is that we're going to be having our annual gala on April 8th, Saturday, April 8th, at the Harlingen Convention Center. And we're going to be raising awareness, raising some funds for all of this great work. And we invite all of you there. We're going to have the City of San Benito there, the City of Harlingen, of course, the City of Mission. And we're very excited for all those guests. So we invite you, hope to see you there. Oh. Yes, thank you, Mayor Sepulveda. Clearly, I'm not a professional here. So it's my first name, Luis, Luis, at rgvhs.org. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to contact me. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just wanted to point out that we do have, we started back in 2019 and then prior, but in 2019, we actually formed a regional animal care coalition under the COG. But unfortunately, pandemic hit, and so they stopped meeting. But we're about to ramp up the meetings again. I know it's very, very critical, and you're right. There's a whole bunch of animals that out there not being treated, or most importantly, the cities, counties are spending an astronomical amount of money, for the shelters. And so those were the key factors that were brought up back in 2019. And so moving forward, those are some of the factors that are going to be addressed as we move forward. So the chair is now Mayor Olivares from Rio Hondo. And so he approached me last time. That's what the reason I bring this up today is because he approached me last month that we need to start those meetings back up again. Obviously, as you know, he's works for the public health department, so they've been inundated with obviously the COVID disaster. So, but we'll be reaching out to all the elected officials as we schedule meetings so they can come forward and address some of these issues.
Thank you so much, sir. We're very excited. You know, the solution is there. It may take a lot of time. Like you said, it may not be overnight, but we can do this together. So I thank you again for this opportunity to speak with you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to item number 5. I guess we're trying to do the action items so we can maintain our quorum. So item 5A1, which is a consideration action to approve Regional Small Cities Coalition election of officers for 2023.
Good afternoon, board. Yes, this is done on an annual basis. Our committee members can be reappointed multiple times. And so the individuals there are Mayor Alma Salinas Sullivan City for the chair, Mayor Yvette Cabrera for the city of Granjeno, and Secretary City Manager Selena Gonzalez from the city of Primera.
Mayor
Okay.
Salinas, Lifer, so move.
We have a motion and a second to approve the Regional Small Cities nomination of officers for 2023. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Congratulations. Okay. Item A2.
Yes, this is consideration and action to approve a resolution proclaiming April as National Fair Housing Month and supporting awareness of fair housing. This is done on an annual basis. Would you like me to read out the proclamation?
Give me a summary.
Thank you, Commissioner.
That's good. That's important. You know, we've been doing this for a long time and have made we made a lot of progress, but still
Yes,
a lot of
we
progress
have.
to make.
Yes.
Okay, so we have a motion and second.
Thank you.
All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you very much. Any questions for that section? No.
So we have some programmatic updates. I would like to thank the City of Alamo for their hospitality for our last Regional Small Cities Coalition. It was very grateful. We're very grateful for that. Our next upcoming Regional Small Cities Coalition will be June 8th at Laguna Vista. Very excited for that coming up. I'd also like to feature our Road to Recycling event that is happening April 22nd. Any city that has not reached out to our agency, please do so. The last day to submit that application is this Friday at 5 p.m. I believe the majority have signed up though. There's maybe a couple of missing, but I did want to highlight that. All other information is available in your packets should you have any questions. Yes, sir.
Any other reports under that item?
No, sir.
We already gave the water. Okay, item 5B, Health and Human Services.
We're going to Rick.
Oh, I'm sorry, Rick. Transportation.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Mayor. I'm cutting in line today because it is lunchtime and I used to cut in line at the cafeteria, so I figured why not kill that trend. Now I have 2 items to be considered this afternoon. Item number 1, transportation consideration action to approve the procurement of 4 new mobile vehicle lifts for our Harlingen maintenance facility. That maintenance facility currently has mobile lifts that it's currently equipped with. However, they're becoming antiquated. Parts and service for those are beginning to become difficult to come by. There's plenty of money in this line item for this budget, and this is a really good time to pull the trigger on this. This will be bought through a Texas Multiple Award Schedule, aka TexMass contract, and it includes the 4 lifts and required items that go with it.
That's a $63,000 item, is that right?
There's 4 lifts, Mayor, that I believe they're of an 18,000 pound capacity each, which will be an upgrade over what they have now. But they're mobile lifts, so basically what the technicians do is they'll situate each lift under each tire of the vehicle and lift them all accordingly.
Okay. We have a motion to approve. We have a second.
Second.
We have a second. Any questions or comments? Very uplifting. All those in favor say
It is
aye.
uplifting. I was literally under a bus yesterday under those 4 mobile lifts that we currently have. So.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Okay.
Second item, consideration and action to approve amendment for operating policies and procedures. RGV Metro Express with Sunday service requires support staff to be available if needed. The on-call policy will allow employees to receive proper compensation for the assignment when receiving that call when on a weekend or Sunday. Of course, this is on an as-needed basis. Staff requests approval of the amendment to the operating policy and procedures manual, section 2, employee expectations and conduct, include information pertaining to on-call time and attendance.
So move.
We have a motion, a second. Any questions or comments? I had one question.
Sure.
I'm on a group that's dealing with workforce development.
Okay.
And one of the big things that came up was the expense, especially in logistic areas that were not near population areas, of the cost of transportation.
Right.
For average workers and all that. And at one point when I was mayor, I had every city commissioner, all the city staff take a bus to work, and they appreciated how difficult it is to get to work or to their workstations and all that. Do you guys do a report or analysis or work with anybody in the workforce development area for that?
We have 2 representatives from our work, one from Cameron County, Cameron Workforce, and also the Alagoas County Workforce Solutions on our regional transportation advisory group. Actually, we're meeting with them tomorrow. So we do get their input on these things. In terms, I have not had the time yet to actually sit down with them to discuss these things at length, but it is kind of something that's in the back of my mind, just to kind of grasp what they're seeing from the workforce as well. So.
And one thing the suggestion was, you really go down there for shift times, and so you don't need to run all day long back and forth to those certain areas. It's really a shift change times that would help significantly. But anyways, I just thought.
No. And it's good feedback because it's something that we consider when we look at our routes and when we look at potential realignments and drop off and pick up times and that kind of thing, because we want to align those to provide the best service possible to the public. There's no point in having the bus run if there's nobody at the bus stop at the given time, right? So we look at all those things.
Okay, thank you. Is that we vote on that?
No.
All those
No, we have a motion and a second. We need to vote on it.
We have motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
Alrighty, updates are in your packet along with the ridership report. I'll be available for questions after the fact or after this meeting if anybody has any. And thank you, everybody.
Okay, we're gonna go back to F now. Let's see. Administration.
Yes.
Introduce our new employees.
Yes, letter F, Executive Director's Report. We do have some new staff that joined the LRGVDC team. We have Jorge Zamora, Clarissa Gonzalez, Mr. Zamora joined Valley Metro, and Ms. Gonzalez, our RGV MPO. So those are our new staff. Moving on to updates on regional news, funding opportunities, training, and legislation. So I did provide quite a bunch of summaries of certain bills that might potentially affect the COG, whether positively or negatively. And so I won't labor those. You received them in advance, so hopefully you got the opportunity to go through those. There was some links embedded into the actual bill number, and so you're more than able to access those. But some of the items that I touched on were related to health and human services, the emergency communications, public safety, environmental quality, transportation. And so the only thing that I have to update you on that, just real briefly on environmental, or things have changed since that update was provided to you. And so these are the topics, a real brief discussion on environmental quality related to HB or House Bill 1505. That proposes to extend TCEQ for 12 years, for 12 more years. Major provisions included will be included, such as greater transparency, public availability of data and information, consistency of enforcement, public work projects, and statewide work plans, among other things. No discussions of funding 5,000 which funds the regional planning commissions, has been brought up. And I know year after year, TCEQ is accommodating and funds the COG, but as most funding agencies do every year, the funding dwindles down less and less. So that's up for debate. And so we have our TARC, Texas Association representatives, keeping an eye on that because obviously that impacts the entire state of Texas, particularly the COGS and the programs that provide to the community related to solid waste, things of that nature, recycling. And so those funding, those amount of fundings have been reduced over time. And so we're advocating for an increase in funding. In public safety, we have Senate Bill 271 related to state agency and local government security incident procedures. That basically is a bill. The bill would require local governments to report cyber incidents to the Texas Department of Information Resources within a defined time period. Under other thing that's forthcoming or in the horizon would be House Bill 2473 relating to improvements of the Texas Information and Referral Network, otherwise known as the 211 system. The bill would modernize 211 Texas by implementing technology updates and communication enhancements such as texting, enhanced screening, and navigating for target populations and data transparency. Only 8 regional councils have this program under their purview. We are not one. And so that's, but it affects everybody in Texas since the majority of the population relies on the 211 service for day-to-day use and also evacuation purposes. So the other one that I have is under the House Transportation. They actually today, they're going to hear a bill of interest to regional councils. And so the agenda includes HB 101 relating to membership of the Texas Transportation Commission. And that basically, deals with making sure that people representing or folks that represent or placed in this committee have the necessary credentials to take on, subjects such as transportation topics. The other one would be House Bill 3805 relating to program categories in the Unified Transportation Program. These 2 bills obviously do not impact the budget. They're no cost, but they're, bills that are being introduced. All these are bills that are being introduced that might affect the COG either positively or a negative way. So that concludes my updates for Executive Director's report. I'd be happy to answer any questions if there's any.
If I could say something, really good report, and TARC does a great job representing Council of Governments. Council of Governments were created as a clearinghouse for federal funds to go to local governments, and so that's really what it was. It was guidance, setting up standards for when federal money came down, who got it as a guidance for the federal, and then it became state. And over the years, I've been doing Council of Governments since the 70s. Council of Governments started doing more and more of a regional thing in supplementing what was being done at the local government level. And so I always watch TARC for 2 reasons. I think it's great that we do projects, but also making sure there's a balance between individual cities getting funding and Council of Governments. And I think they do a great job from that standpoint and certainly support what they're doing. But that's always something that you need to watch out for. Because the legislature sometimes gets confused on that.
Yeah.
And so that's important. And we don't want it just to be big city versus small city. And that's
yes, TARC
does a great job.
They're a huge resources. Commissioner Garza, I know you attend the meetings quarterly basis. If you want to comment on that.
Well, my only comment is that, the TARC will be there on the floor either favorably or unfavorably information to the committees at which they're being discussed today. And most of what is turned in are things that have gone through the clearing process, as you said, Darlene. At that last quarterly meeting, we had a legislative piece, and we went through all of the items of interest in which we needed to be as councils, either supportive or non-supportive. And you see things that kind of come to light, like the TCEQ and some of these things. Many times these bills are pushing the responsibility of enforcement to the locals. But yet, when they do that, they give the locals no resources to do the work, which means there's a bigger burden on every entity that's a member of this COG, because then you become responsible. So it's important that we understand the significance and importance of being present. And if anyone is there in Austin, we've got a group of people up there today, like 5 folks from our county. I'm sure Hidalgo does too. But you have to at least minimally attend and turn in your cards favorably or unfavorably, or sign up as a witness in some of these committees.
Yeah, Eric doesn't do it all. They have to have
No, they
support
need
from local
everybody, they need
members.
the community's help, you know, I mean.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Health and Human Services, item 5B. Margarita. I had a question. You know, I was on the Amigos Divide board, and we never ate the meals we used to serve, and so on the board, I made us eat the meals we served, and after that, the quality of the food went up a little bit.
Thank you for that. We are working on monitoring those meals.
Okay.
We recently got some of our staff trained as food handlers and food managers specifically for that. Thank you. Okay, we do not have any action items today. I would like to highlight that we did have our conference last week, and the turnout was amazing. We did prepare to serve or attend to 40 individuals, and we ended up attending 83, which means next year we hope to double that. So probably over 150 people. We did host it here. More than likely we'll host it somewhere else next year. We had a lot of participation for different departments here at the COG. We had Eddie Reyes from HR help us there with some presentation. Some of the people that helped us out were Workforce Solutions. They presented on how to be able to include some of our disabled population in the working society. So that was very helpful for our disabled family members that also came in search of hope and ways to integrate their disabled families into society again. Besides them, we did have Valley Metro and Vail talk a little bit about how transportation is available for our disabled population. That was also very helpful. So we look forward to hosting it again next year. You do have my reports, and I would like to highlight, we've been speaking a lot about our CTI programs, which is our coaches in the hospitals. We currently have 6 hospitals where we have our coaches helping transition our age 60 and above population into their homes and helping them to get services like transportation to their follow-up appointments, prescription, and anything else that they may need to avoid them going back to the hospital within 30 days. Well, we're happy to announce that now we are probably going to have everyone in place to serve the veteran hospital in Harlingen. We will be the first program in the state of Texas to have the coaches in a veteran hospital. So hopefully our pilot program kicks off and we're able to have them in the hospital in May with full services. Other than that, the report is available to you. So if you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer those for you.
Point out that the new reimbursement rate is now $10 per meal from HHS, is that right?
There's a bill on the House floor right now, House Bill 2036. That increases the ceiling to $10 per meal for reimbursement. So that's one of the topics that was brought up at the end of last year at one of our TARC meetings. And so because right now it's about $5 change, which, the nutrition for the adults is, ridiculous in our eyes. So we're spearheading to try to increase that amount to from $5 to $10, so that we could provide better meals for our elderly folks.
You can't give them a Happy Meal at Whataburger for $5 anymore.
And that one definitely does not comply with the Office of Aging nutrition requirements. And so I'm glad that that is in the works. When we went to TARC, we did emphasized the need for that to be revised. So hopefully those meals will be a little bit more tasty.
And
Not to
hopefully,
mention-
hopefully in the near future, we were going to bring it up last year. So I did task Margarita with trying to bring those meals here so that we could share amongst us to see
Yeah.
how good those meals are or not. So we could actually have data or facts and actually,
Well,
strengthen.
but when we bring those meals, they're going to be at the $5 rate.
That's okay.
So just
We
keep
ought
that
to
in
do that.
mind.
We should do that. Do we still do the senior companionship program or no? We don't fund
I'm
that?
not sure, are we? No, we're not.
Okay. Okay. Any other
Anything else?
questions, any comments, questions, report? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Public safety.
Good afternoon, everyone. I don't have any action items to present, but I do have status program updates. I'd like to focus on 2 exercises that we are working on this coming month. The first one is a cyber incident management workshop. So we have partnered up with CISA, with DHS, Department of Homeland Security, and this workshop is going to pretty much assist or help attendees with the necessary information so they can engage their executive leadership in certain creation of policies necessary for developing a cyber incident plan. That's one of the things. The other thing that this workshop is going to help is going to be an objective to provide attendees with templates and resources from our resources that can assist them with developing a cyber incident management plan. There's going to be a couple more things with this workshop. It's going to be about a 3-hour workshop. Currently, we have 35 people that already signed up, 20 different agencies from the region. So it is something that people are interested in. We've invited IT personnel, city leaders, city managers. We've sent out the invite to everyone within the jurisdiction. The next exercise is a tabletop. It's actually we partnered up with ICTAP, which they are the Interoperable Communications Technical Assistance Program. They're a division from CISA and also with DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Now this tabletop is going to be geared towards our radio interoperability, and it's going to allow us to identify what our shortfalls are, what our strengths are, what our weaknesses are, what our capacities, capabilities, things of that nature. So with this tabletop, it will also allow us to correct our mistakes as a region. It's going to allow us to enhance our overall readiness response in the event of a major large-scale multi-jurisdictional incident. Currently, we have 59 individuals signed up for this one, and we have 20 different cities that are participating in this tabletop. Our capacity, our seating is limited to 70, so I capped it at 60, and I pretty much am going to extend the invite to the board members, whoever you all would like to have someone sign up or anything that y'all might have in mind that might not know about this tabletop. I'll be sending the information to Ms. Debbie. That way she can disperse the information to all the board members, and you all can have the link so you can register, since it is an RSVP. It's being done here in the Ken Jones boardroom, so seating is limited. I know we could probably push it to about 80, seeing the seats on the sides, but that's pushing it. And then I don't know how the AC would be in here with that many people.
That's April 27th.
That one's April 27th. The cyber incident one is April 20th. So those are coming up next month. That's why I decided to let everyone know about these 2 tabletops and exercises workshop. Yes. So if there are no further questions, that concludes my program updates.
Thank you very much. Regional Police Academy status report.
Good
Mr.
afternoon.
Luna?
At this time, we don't have any action items in reference to the report itself. Big things that were going to be happening would be we have Edinburgh Day Academy starting next week on Monday, and then we should have another night academy starting the second week of May, and then they're not posted in there, but 2 different academies will graduate. Mission Day will graduate sometime in July, and the same thing with the current West Coast Night will also graduate sometime in July.
So we have Mid Valley, Mission, Edinburgh. Is there like a regional one that's up someplace else, or that's just it?
Those are actually, that is under the preview of the LRGVDC, so those are considered regional.
Okay.
We're trying to bring it in-house maybe in the near future, have a centralized location, preferably here in Westlaco because it's a center of pretty much the valley. And so, but yes, everything we do on the police academy is regional in nature, and cadets attend and we produce them for all the police departments who would
There's
want to
not
have.
the city of Mission police.
No.
That's a regional, okay.
Correct.
Is looking to- Okay. Okay. Any questions? Thank you. And last but not least, the Emergency Communication District staff reports.
Good afternoon. As you can see in your information packets, our GIS team has begun our next stage of our ticketing system replacement project. We'll be installing ArcGIS Workflow Manager into our hub in the coming weeks. Our community engagement team attended the City Engajeño 16th Annual Friendship Festival to help inform the community on how to text to 911. And then on February 2nd, our IT team members provided support for our local Rio Grande Valley ArcGIS users group. They helped set up the labs for that two-day GIS training that was open to local GIS communities. So it was at McAllen, but any city department could send their GIS staff to it. Finally, our 911 IT team took a week-long Viper 7 hardware software infrastructure training that covered all the necessary skills to maintain our 911 call delivery system in-house. And the rest of the information, there's a call volume report on the packet. You guys have any questions?
Any questions? Nope. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And last but not least, the Rio Grande Valley MPO status report, Mr. Andrew Cannon. Are you still awake?
Good afternoon. Luis Diaz on behalf of Andrew Cannon and the MPO Assistant Director. I just wanted to share today, we do have just information. We are under public involvement for our 25-year MTP, which is our Metropolitan Transportation Plan. And that's from 2020 to 2045. These are all the projects, across the region that are on our transportation related within our plan. And we are going under public involvement for 30 days. It started on the 20th of this month and expires on April 20th. We did have our first stop yesterday at the McAllen Transit Station. Our next one will be on, sorry about that, on April 12th, and that'll be at the Stark County Appraisal District. And after that, we will be making our rounds across. We will have a stop in Harlingen to be decided. And we will also be at the Brownsville Farmers Market, and that's to be decided on the date as well. So that's what I just wanted to share. I will go ahead and drop here in the chat. I'll drop the link to our public involvement page on our website, and that's where everything is. So if you go to the rgvmpo.org under the news section, you will see the public involvement notice there. And that's all I have for you today. If there's any questions, I could take them at this time. Thank you.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Thank you, Luis. Okay,
Yes, sir.
new business. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for recognizing me. Under new business, the Valley is extremely fortunate that last week, Governor Abbott announced a new appointment to the TxDOT Commission, who is from the Rio Grande Valley. It'd been over 30 years that anyone from our area had served in that capacity. We have been working on getting someone elected or nominated for that position for at least the last 23 that I know of. And after much push and help and regional involvement, the governor appointed Alex Mead, who is from Mission and is a great asset for us. I think most of us know Alex Mead. He's a friend of most of the folks around this table. I think it'd be a great asset for the future, not only for the Valley, but for the South Texas region as a whole. And we really look forward to being able to have someone at that level help us with the infrastructure needs that we have, that we think will now at least be represented on the dais when they're discussing on how to divvy up the dollars. I know that we've gone, Manny, with the MPO consolidation process that we were asked to do. The COG had a huge role to play with that. And all of that work in regionalization of issues has led to his appointment, I believe. So we really need to be proud. We need to welcome him, and hopefully soon, he could come and at least introduce himself to one of the COG meetings when he's around.
Yeah, it's finally a recognition of that we're the sixth largest metro area in the state of
Fifth.
Texas.
Fifth largest.
Fifth largest.
Yeah, like fifth largest. So.
And this is not just an interim appointment, it's full term.
Well, his term is an unexpired term that he was appointed to. So it's a 2-year term. So our message to him is you got to prove to the state and the governor that you're not only a South Texas appointee, but you're an appointee that is going to promote mobility and projects, statewide, of course, but we want to have someone local there to help us. We've seen what appointments in other parts of the state has done for the regions and how much attention they get. So we hope that be the same for us down here.
Okay.
Yes, we'll reach out to him and invite him to the board of directors. And obviously, transportation has many facets. And so one lies within the LRGVDC with Valley Metro. So anything he needs, we'll reach out. But anything he needs, make sure to provide it to him if he needs to justify or provide data. But one of the last things I want to mention, Mr. President, just next week or next month, it's National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week, the week of April 9th through the 15th. And so just wanted to share that with you guys. And so for those of you that have a PSAP or Public Safety Answering Point, 911 Dispatch Center, please go by and say thank you to those unsung heroes that answer those calls, the first responders to the first responders, telecommunicators, dispatchers at your facilities. So we'll be celebrating in Hidalgo and Willacy County. That's our district. But we typically provide them with a goodie bag or a care package that we, actually go out there and provide it to them. So just an FYI.
Everybody has a PSAP almost, so make sure you do that. Okay, any other business? You none? We'll stand
Jim.
adjourned. Thank you.
Well, just real quickly, Jim, this is Veronica. I just wanted to point out, I saw it on the screen, but I don't recall us talking about it. In April 20th through the 23rd, UTRGV in the city of Edinburgh will be hosting the Wall That Heals. It's the Vietnam Memorial Wall that has all the names on it, and there's an exhibit that travels. There it is. And so we would love for y'all to come out. I know the Valley is a very patriotic place, and we want to honor our veterans. So if you want to come out, it's going to be open to the public during those days.
Thank you, Veronica.
Thank you.
Okay, any other business? Hearing none, going once, twice, we'll stand adjourned. Drive safely for those that came, and turn off, don't get electrocuted, turn off your computer. Thank you.
For those